Hi, my name is Melissa McConaughey, and I'd like to talk to you about how PD Warrior can help you. I'm a specialist neurological physiotherapist and a co-founder of the PD Warrior program alongside my colleague Lynn Tulloch. I've been working with people with Parkinson's for a very long time now, but I'm so proud and passionate of this program because I've never seen the results in Parkinson's that we're getting now. So I hope you can take a little bit of time just to watch this video, and if you've got any questions at the end, please do contact us here at PD Warrior. So the biggest change with treating people with Parkinson's these days is that you don't die of Parkinson's disease. Back in the 60s, before levodopa medication was invented, it really was a terminal condition. My grandfather died of Parkinson's disease, but these days you live with it. It's something that you need to manage, just like your neighbour who has a dodgy hip or your mother-in-law who has had 5 heart attacks. It's something that you need to live with and manage. The biggest problems that we see in Parkinson's these days are sedentary behaviour patterns, and these are types of behaviour patterns that people adopt because they feel that there's no positive outcome for doing any exercise. Most people I meet who are newly diagnosed with Parkinson's or still considered quite mild tend to underestimate the effect that Parkinson's can have on them, even if they haven't noticed that they've started to compensate on particular activities in the day. Have a think about it now. What do you think you've given up on? Have you stopped brushing your teeth with a manual toothbrush? Do you still cut up your steak when you go out, or do you not order steak because you're a bit worried about having to cut it up in public? Do you use public transport, or have you lost confidence travelling on public transport? These are all little things that might make a very big difference to your overall quality of life. We also tend to find that anxiety and depression are very prevalent in this population. The literature talks about statistics anywhere from 40 to 80% of people with Parkinson's will have at least one major depressive episode. What about you? Have you had any depressive episodes that you can remember? These can be very strong reasons why people tend to avoid activity and become quite sedentary. As well, loss of confidence, falls and poor balance can be a really big problem for people with Parkinson's. Not only do you have the falls and balance, but it's the loss of confidence that leads to the social isolation. And I guess more of a stigma around Parkinson's being quite doom and gloom. And I would really like to change that culture and that mindset and make people with, or help people with Parkinson's to feel that there is hope, that your quality of life can be significantly improved. The facts about Parkinson's we can't change. This is a progressive condition, and we're certainly not saying that this is a cure by any means. What it is very hard work. It's not a magic bullet. You still need to work very hard at the program to achieve success. And we know that at diagnosis, the majority of the dopamine-producing cells, which sit in your basal ganglia, have already been destroyed. And that's what leads to the clinical symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And again, we can't change that. In some cases, we can clinically reverse some of those symptoms. And again, that's one of the first times in my career that I've been able to say that and see that in my patients. But again, what we're hoping to achieve with the program is a slower decline in your overall function. We might be able to change it from going from one side to the other side as quick as it might otherwise do. What we do know is that sedentary behaviour patterns will certainly accelerate your symptom presentation. So if we can get you moving and optimise you at every single stage of the condition, you will have a much, much better quality of life, and you will be able to get on with things and get back into life. The Parkinson's itself affects your motor output. So the cells that sit in a part of the basal ganglia in the brain, these are the cells that die off with your Parkinson's disease. I like to think of your basal ganglia as your switchboard. So you've got a lot of input coming in from the outer part of the brain, within the midbrain. That all gets processed and then sent out to drive your movement. And unfortunately in Parkinson's, it's like taking your foot off the accelerator pedal. You can push your foot down and you can achieve normal movement, but it takes a lot more effort to achieve that. And that's what PD Warrior can help you to do. The average age of onset of Parkinson's is about 55 to 60 years old, but typically people in Australia aren't seen for therapy until they're about, I don't know, 70 to 85, and that's generally because they start to fall and are admitted to hospital. And by that stage, it can be a lot harder to make significant changes. So what PD Warrior aims to achieve is significant improvements in the very early stages of Parkinson's disease, before you're starting to fall and before you have big problems with freezing. And we know that 30 people are diagnosed each day in Australia. So this is a significant problem, and we would like to train as many people as we can to treat early stage Parkinson's disease, because in my understanding and my exploration of my colleagues, there's very few people who know how to treat early stage Parkinson's disease. And that's why we've developed PD Warrior as a program that's very specific to the symptoms and presentation that you would come into the clinic with. And statistics say there's anywhere up to 52,000 people in Australia currently who are considered mild to moderate, and that's exactly the kind of people that PD Warrior is targeted for. So let me tell you a little bit about what PD Warrior is. Well, first and foremost, it's an exercise program, but it's quite different to just going to the gym or going for a run or playing tennis or swimming. It's very specific to the symptoms of people with Parkinson's disease. And not only that, it can target, or it can be used for any of the symptoms that you may present with Parkinson's disease, because we know that everybody that comes into the clinic is going to be very different to the next person. So if you've got a tremor that is your biggest impairment, we can treat that. If you've had deep brain stimulation, we can help you with that. If you've got slowness and very small movements, bradykinesia and hypokinesia, we can try and help you with that as well. So the difference with the PD Warrior program is the exercise is very intensive, and it uses a specific combination of exercises that we've developed based on what the literature shows us at the moment. So that's how it's quite different to your regular and generalized exercise program. It's also an education program, and this is really evolved because we want you to feel as empowered as possible. Now, I know that word gets used loosely sometimes, but what we find in the PD Warrior program is that people really feel a sense of empowerment, that they can help to manage their own condition. It's not about just sitting there and taking medication anymore, and in some cases a lot of people don't want to take medication. Now, that's not my position to really advise either way on medication, but I do strongly believe that you do need to be very well medicated in order to be optimized at every stage of condition and to be able to exercise and get a significant training effect. The third part of the PD Warrior program is about the behaviour change program. It's about teaching you long-term strategies so that you can exercise for life. The unfortunate news is Parkinson's doesn't go on holidays, so you can't go on holidays from it. You need to keep at this program. And most of the people that do PD Warrior and they stick to it and do the program as it's meant to be done see quite significant changes by the end of the 10-week program. But again, it's not just about that 10-week program. The whole 10-week challenge is set up to encourage you to adopt healthy exercise behaviours for long-term benefit. And the fourth part of PD Warrior is the community that we're trying to create and develop. And this is really part of the support network that people in the very early stages of Parkinson's disease who are mild and moderate really benefit from the community that develops. You know, I have people that come into the clinic and say to me, I don't want to be in a group of people with Parkinson's because I don't want to see other people who are worse than me. And my answer is often, look, if you can keep up with the rest of the group, then we'll let you stay because they're here to fight. So again, the question to you is, do you want to fight your condition? Do you want to be the best that you can possibly be? Because if you do, then that's where PD Warrior is, you know, you're the kind of person who PD Warrior is designed for. How is PD Warrior different? I've spoken about the exercise side of things, but at the moment people in early stage Parkinson's disease are not referred for a specific exercise program or a specific program for people with Parkinson's disease. So it's different in that respect. We're trying to educate and encourage as many health professionals, neurologists, GPs, physiotherapists to refer into PD Warrior on diagnosis. That would be my ultimate goal for the PD Warrior program. When people are referred into therapy, typically they're not treated. And I'm guilty of this. 3 years ago, before Lynn and I developed PD Warrior, I would have seen somebody who now I consider perfect for PD Warrior, and I would have said, look, you're really good. Here's a general exercise program, but there's not much I can help you with at the moment. That's the kind of person I'm talking about. That's exactly who PD Warrior has been designed for, the people that aren't getting treated at the moment. And if they are getting treated, it's typically treated with wrong treatment strategies. At undergraduate level, we were taught as physiotherapists a whole range of strategies to help people in the later stages of Parkinson's, because that's when we typically saw them. Unfortunately, they are ineffective in the early stages of Parkinson's. Things like external cueing devices are not relevant in the early stages when you're not falling, you're not freezing, etc. So again, it's about tailoring the program to people that are considered mild to moderate. It's a very different style of approach, and it's much more intensive and specialist. Who is PD Warrior for? Well, I've mentioned it a little bit about a few key features, but really it's for people with idiopathic Parkinson's disease. That means people that follow a common pathway for the presentation of Parkinson's disease. Idiopathic means you present with the clinical hallmark features of Parkinson's disease: rigidity, tremor and bradykinesia. You respond well to medication, and there have been other medical conditions excluded. Those would be the three defining features that would typically indicate somebody has idiopathic Parkinson's disease. Your symptoms generally need to be quite mild, and that again means that you're not falling or freezing significantly. We certainly take people that do fall and that do freeze, but it may not be in a circuit environment. It may be more one-on-one, and I've often treated patients who have been falling and freezing and who haven't been ready for a circuit class at the beginning, and we've actually got them into a circuit class after a number of one-on-one sessions. You need to be reasonably active and fit already, and the reason why is because it's a very intensive exercise program and we're trying to mitigate injuries. If you get injured very early on, of course that's going to be quite disappointing for you. So if you're not fit enough, we may do a general conditioning program before we get you ready and stuck into PD Warrior. And you also need to be motivated. You need to be motivated to make the change, because the journey is going to be really hard work. There's going to be days where you don't feel like coming into the circuit or you don't feel like doing your exercises, but if you're motivated, you're more likely to succeed, because you're going to be able to do the hard yards when you really would rather be doing other things. Just wanted to show you Wendy, who's a perfect candidate for PD Warrior. So have a think about what Wendy looks like and what you look like. So Wendy's in the early stages of Parkinson's disease. You can see she's moving quite well. There's lots of things that we'd want to be working on with Wendy, but most people would only be prescribing a general exercise program for Wendy. Her balance is excellent. But Wendy is the perfect candidate for PD Warrior. There is so much that we can help Wendy with, things that she probably doesn't even know that she's having trouble with. I wanted to make a point of who PD Warrior is not for, and that's for people with an atypical presentation or condition. And the reason why I say that is because if you present with an atypical pattern of Parkinson's or Parkinsonian symptoms, or it's not idiopathic, i.e. it's vascular Parkinson's or it's medication-induced, you may not respond as well to the PD Warrior program. So again, it's just managing expectation. If you're a faller or freezer, it doesn't mean you can't come into PD Warrior, but it probably means you're not eligible for the PD Warrior circuit. And again, that will depend on a lot of factors, and your PD Warrior instructor will be able to advise you on that. But as I said before, in many cases we've actually treated people that are fallers and freezers, and they've done really well, so they've actually gone into the PD Warrior circuit. If you've got an unstable medical condition, a heart condition for instance, or you've had major surgery, that's not usually a good time to be going into an intensive exercise program. So we always expect that people are stable with their medical history. And if you've got any significant cognitive or psychiatric impairments, again, we can certainly treat you one-on-one, but it may make it difficult to get you into a circuit environment. We can have anywhere from 8 to 10 people with Parkinson's in a circuit class, so we need everybody to get the most out of the program and to be able to follow instructions and move around the circuit. Some of the barriers that have been identified to exercise in the literature have been a low outcome expectation. So if you think that exercise can't do very much for you and can't do very much to improve your Parkinson's, then I would like to challenge that. As I said at the very beginning, I've never seen improvements like I have in PD Warrior. I can't guarantee that you would get the same improvements, but I could say that we could have a very good idea once we do the initial assessment and go through a couple of weeks to see whether you would make any change or not. One of the biggest facilitators to exercising long term is the high self-efficacy. And again, that's why it's really important for us that you feel empowered and you feel like you can manage your condition and you're getting a lot out of the quality of life side of the PD Warrior program. And I guess that's why it's so exciting, because you know, people walk into a PD Warrior class like like they're getting dragged off to hell, and then leave with big smiles on their faces and everyone's best buddies because they've achieved something in the class that they might have thought they otherwise weren't able to do. So the PD Warrior program itself certainly can drive that self-efficacy, that sense of empowerment and ability to manage your condition, and that makes a very big difference to how people perceive their Parkinson's disease. Just wanted to show you a quick video of Pat, who came to see us a little while ago. This is Pat when she first started. Pat was falling regularly and recently had fallen and fractured her hip. And if you have a look at how Pat's walking, there's lots of things there that, again, I would be really keen to get stuck into. But you can see how Pat's confidence might be shaken. This is after 4 weeks of training with the 10-week challenge. These are some of the exercises that Pat was doing. You can see they're very vibrant, colourful. We work really hard to create novel and new exercises. And this is Pat walking at 12 weeks. Now this video was taken some time ago, and for those of you that have met Pat or know Pat, you could see that she's moving even better than now. So well done, Pat. Pat's kindly let us use her video for this presentation. So if you're at the crossroads now, have a think about what you want to do. Are you ready to fight the symptoms of Parkinson's disease? Do you want to be the best you can be at every stage of your Parkinson's disease? Because if you do, you might be somebody that's ready for PD Warrior. If you're not ready, have a think about what it's going to take to get you ready. What are the barriers that you feel are stopping you from being the best you can possibly be? Is it because you're depressed? Do you need to talk to your GP about antidepressants? Is it because you don't think that you can make any improvements? Because if that's the case, I would encourage you to make an appointment with a local PD Warrior instructor and have them show you how much better you might be able to be. So again, this is the crossroads for you now. I would love to see everybody with Parkinson's referred to PD Warrior, because I know it can make a big improvement to the majority of people. My vision for PD Warrior is that everybody in Australia is referred to PD Warrior, and of course then global domination. I really do think, in my experience, this is one of the best programs for people with Parkinson's disease. Of course, I'm incredibly biased, but I know that once we get the research published, you might also see more of the literature available on the PD Warrior program itself. So how you choose to live with Parkinson's is entirely up to you. Yes, you can take your medication, and yes, you can carry on, but really at the end of the day, it's about managing it the best you can be. And I honestly think that PD Warrior is, you know, one extra tool that you can add to your toolbox that can help you to really manage your Parkinson's to the best that you can possibly manage it. So if you'd like to make a booking, I would strongly encourage you not to wait. Every single day that you delay booking in is a day that you could be missing out on the opportunity to be the best that you can possibly be with your Parkinson's. So hop on the website pdwarrior.com and find your local PD Warrior site. If there's not someone local to you, then let me know. So you can email me from the website, and I'll be able to happily put you in touch with anybody that's in your local area or about to set up a PD Warrior facility. So thank you very much for your time today.